Audio Jungle.
If you make videos using Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe Media Encoder, and Adobe After Effects, you probably know that rendering can take a very long time, and that's an understatement. Well, today I'm going to show you guys exactly how you can get the most out of your current PC rig and render videos much faster without having to invest any money into extra graphics cards or better CPUs or anything like that, more RAM. This is a simple video showing you guys exactly how you can make rendering a lot easier. So before I get started on this video, obviously this will only help a little bit. If you want to make rendering times much quicker, make sure to invest real money into a SSD, a good CPU, and a good graphics card, most importantly. Anyway, so if you guys do not have any money to invest, here is a quick video showing you guys exactly how you can get the most out of your current PC rig with no extra downloads. So first of all, what you're going to want to do is hit Start E or open up your Explorer, then go ahead to your Premiere Pro installation folder. Mine is C Program Files, Adobe Premiere Pro CC 2015.3. So as you guys probably know, there are a ton of files and a ton of separate settings because Adobe Premiere Pro and all other things like Media Encoder and After Effects are pretty insane. They're insanely created, they're really well coded, and there's a huge amount of settings and stuff that go into them. This does work for After Effects, Premiere Pro, and Media Encoder, as I've said, so just copy these steps that I'm going to show you guys for any one of those programs. So as you know, or might not know, there are a lot of hidden settings that you can only change from the folder itself. So today I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do that. All you need to do is right click, New, and then text document, then go ahead and name it settings, capital S, .ini. Go ahead and hit yes, and then open it up with something like Notepad. Now what you guys are going to want to do is go ahead and type in open square brackets, settings, close square bracket, new line, mode equals developer. It basically puts it into developer mode, allowing you to change a lot of settings that you can't otherwise change. Then go ahead and type in mthread equals enabled. This will use as many threads as it can, and it enables multi-threading, which will make Premiere Pro and all other programs work much faster. Then go ahead and do mthread count equals, and then set it to something slightly lower than your current amount of threads. So if you guys don't know what that is, go ahead and hit Control-Shift-Escape. It'll bring up Task Manager, then go across to Performance, and then you'll see down here somewhere that you will have a certain amount of threads, and then there we go. Logical processes 8, cores 4. So I'm going to set it to 5. Just because I have 8 and I have other things running like YouTube normally whenever I'm rendering and editing, and Steam and Windows and all those good things running in the background. So I'm going to use slightly less than what you really need to. So I mean, you can put more than 5 if you wanted to, if you have 8 processes, for example. If you have 16 or 32 or something insane, go ahead and set it to 31 if you have 32, or 14 if you have 16. Something close, but not all the way. Make sure you keep at least one open so you can keep Windows running and all the other programs running healthily like normal. Then go ahead and type in SLI equals false or true, depending on whether you have multiple NVIDIA graphics cards. I do not, so I'm going to set this to false. The reason that you should declare this in the settings file is because it will check to see if you have multiple graphics cards every single time that you start up the program, which is very annoying. And if you set it to false here, it will no longer check, meaning that when you start up the program, it will be at least a little bit faster. Then what you need to do is type in SLI mode equals all. So even if you do not have more than one graphics card, make sure that you have this set to all, because it will use all the available memory in the graphics card, leaving it just a tiny little bit for Windows so that it can run at the maximum settings. Now, if you guys have different graphics cards, let's say you have 2 NVIDIA GeForce 1080s, so what you're going to want to do, instead of typing in all, is type in open inverted commas NVIDIA GeForce with a capital F 1080, close inverted commas, comma, DIMM1. So make sure that you guys know which DIMM slots your graphics cards are in before doing this. If you guys don't know anything about that or only have one graphics card, just remember to keep that setting to all and skip a bit ahead in the video so that I can go ahead and explain the next one. So then let's say that you have a NVIDIA GeForce 1060. And it's in dim 2. Now you may be asking yourself, I thought you can only use SLI when you have two of the same graphics cards or more. Wrong! Programs like the Adobe Premiere Pro and stuff like that can run with different graphics cards and use as much available memory and processing power as they can from all of the graphics cards. So that's actually a really cool thing on Adobe's side, but I'm just going to keep it to all because I have just one graphics card. Then what you're going to want to do is type in SLI VRAM. Now, even if you don't have multiple graphics cards, you'll have to declare this, so you guys will probably have to check the boxes that you bought your graphics cards in, or go ahead and Google them to find out exactly how much VRAM they have. So I went ahead and Googled my graphics card. I have a GTX 970, and as you guys can see, it has 4 GB RAM. So when you type it in here, just make sure that you work in powers of 2. So if you guys don't know what that is, you'll probably just have to go 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 until you eventually reach the amount of RAM that you have. I know that 496 is one. If you guys want to know these simple ones, there is 1024, 2048, 4096, 8192, and 16384. So that's a pretty big number. This one over here is 1 gig, 2 gig, 4 gigs, 8 gigs, and 16 gigs. I have just 4 gigs. Now here's the interesting thing, is that if you have multiple graphics cards with different amounts of RAM in them, you guys can go ahead and add them together. Just make sure that you get the closest number possible using squares of 2. So if you guys have something like a 1 gigabyte graphics card and a 2 gigabyte graphics card, you can go ahead and add those both together to get 3 gigabytes. So that will be 3072, I think. Yep, 3072. So if you have 3 gigs of RAM split across 2 graphics cards, go ahead and type in 3092 if you have that amount of memory. Anyway, next up, what you're going to want to do is type in on a new line, priority equals high. So this basically makes the priority, meaning that your computer will treat it as something that is very important and give as much processing power and RAM and stuff like that, resources as it can to the program while keeping all the other programs running just barely. So if you type this in, all other programs on your PC will start to lag when you render or are currently editing a video with the video playing. But if you're gonna go ahead and render a video, I'd recommend you copy paste the settings.ini file into it, close the program that you're working in, and then go ahead and open it up and then start rendering again. Cool, so once you have that, make sure to have purge temp in it, and make sure it's equal to true. Basically, whenever Adobe Premiere Pro or any other program like that from Adobe works, is that when you're watching the video or editing it, it will create temporary files that you can use to speed up the rendering process later by selecting use preview files. But what you guys probably don't know is that when you're done rendering a video, and you may have even deleted the project file, those temporary files will remain there and take up a huge amount of space that they really don't need to. You guys probably know that if you've gone ahead and browsed the drive with the cache for Adobe Premiere Pro or anything else like that on it. Next, go ahead and type in scaling equals low. So basically, whenever you resize the Adobe Premiere Pro window, it'll scale everything down to make sure that it looks good at the current size, or up to make sure that it looks good at that size. So if you guys set this to low, it'll put only a tiny amount of processing into that and not try and predict what you're going to resize the window to, which can make rendering and viewing the video slightly faster. Then go ahead and type in cloud equals false. Basically, when you're editing and make any changes or it auto-saves, it will upload the whole project to the cloud if you have it enabled using the Adobe software. If you guys do not have Microsoft OneDrive or Adobe Cloud, make sure to just leave this out completely. Then if you have 3 screens, this is a very important thing, or 2 screens for that matter, or anything above that, you guys need to find out which screen you want Adobe Premiere Pro to start up on. So I'm going to type in display equals 2 because this is my second monitor. I have one to the left and one to the right because I have a 3 monitor setup. If you guys don't know what the number of your current screen is, go ahead and press start, type in display, and look at the number on your current screen. Then go ahead and type in load when needed. There's meant to be 2 N's there. Equals true. Basically, as you guys may or may not know, there are a huge amount of effects and transitions and stuff that you're probably never going to use in every single project. So if you guys go ahead and type this in, it will only load the specified transitions and effects and stuff when you need them. So this can make rendering and editing the video a whole lot faster by getting rid of unneeded things, especially when you're not going to work with them. And then go ahead and type in speakers equals 2. So I have two speakers, i.e. headphones, which are stereo. If you guys have 5.1, go ahead and type in 5.1, and if you have 7.1, go ahead and type in 7.1. Basically, those are the only three that Adobe Premiere Pro works with, and After Effects and all that other good stuff. So once you've done that, it'll no longer try and figure out how many speakers you have at the time of running the program. So this video has been a really long explanation. I hope this really does help you guys edit and render your videos much quicker. I know it cut my rendering times by about 20 or 30%, which is absolutely insane. Seeming though, rendering a 1 or 2 minute video used to take me about 5, it now takes me about 3 or even 2, which is insane because that's cut it in half pretty much. So, thank you all for watching. My name's been Rednor, so just make sure that you save this as well. I almost forgot. Close it, and bam, you can go ahead and edit or do whatever. And yeah.